Imagine this scenario. You stand at the edge of adulthood, a map clutched in your hand, a map given to you in childhood, inscribed with glowing words like potential, brilliant, destined for greatness. You were the smart one, the child who grasped concepts effortlessly, who solved problems while others stumbled. Praise was your native language, achievement your expected terrain. You followed the map diligently, believing it led to a summit of success and fulfillment. Yet, here you are, years later, feeling lost. The landscape around you feels strangely barren. There's a profound sense of disconnect, a quiet hum of loneliness beneath the surface of everyday life. You see others connecting, laughing, moving forward with a messy, imperfect energy, while you feel stuck, like an observer behind thick glass, watching life happen to other people. How did the promise curdle into pressure? How did the map, meant to guide you to soaring heights, lead you into this hidden valley of isolation? What happens when the very quality that defined your specialness becomes the invisible cage that holds you captive? The applause that once fueled you now echoes with a hollow sound, a constant reminder of an expectation you secretly fear you can no longer meet. You were supposed to be ahead, yet you feel profoundly behind, unable to pinpoint the moment you veered off course, or perhaps realizing with dawning horror that the map itself was flawed. This isn't just imposter syndrome. It's a deeper, more unsettling paradox, the curse of the celebrated mind. Why do so many who were lauded for their intelligence find themselves struggling, not with complex equations or grand theories, but with the simple, vital art of living? The roots of this disconnect run deeper than mere circumstance. They burrow into the very soil of identity formation. When a child is consistently praised not for effort, but for being smart, for effortless achievement, a perilous equation forms in their psyche. My worth equals my intelligence equals my ability to succeed without struggle. This identity, forged in the warm glow of external validation, becomes both shield and prison. As Jean-Paul Sartre might observe, we become trapped by the gaze of others, internalizing their labels until we mistake the reflection for the self. The label smart ceases to be a description and becomes a prescription, a role that must be performed flawlessly. The terror isn't just failing a test, it's the existential dread of failing to be the person everyone expects. Struggle, therefore, isn't seen as a natural part of growth, but as the evidence of fraudulence, a crack in the facade that threatens to shatter the entire identity. To protect this fragile sense of self, a survival strategy emerges: avoidance. Why risk the label when you can stay within the safe confines of what you already know? Carl Jung spoke of the shadow, those aspects of ourselves we repress. For the smart kid, the shadow often contains the vulnerability of not knowing, the discomfort of effort, the messiness of learning through failure. By refusing to engage with this shadow, by clinging rigidly to the persona of effortless brilliance, the potential for true integrated growth is stunted. The identity built on being smart becomes a gilded cage, preventing the exploration necessary for a richer, more resilient self to emerge. Intelligence, meant to be a tool for navigating the world, becomes the master dictating the terms of existence. The consequences ripple outwards, subtly poisoning the wellsprings of life. This avoidance strategy, designed to protect the smart identity, begins to dictate choices. You find yourself shying away from challenges that don't guarantee immediate success. That club you were curious about? Too risky. What if you're not good at it? That sport that looked fun? Unfamiliar territory, best avoided. Group projects become sources of immense frustration, not because of the task, but because collaboration requires navigating imperfection, both yours and others. You might develop what psychologists call cognitive empathy, the ability to understand others' feelings intellectually, to analyze their motivations and predict their responses like a complex simulation running in your head. You can navigate conversations, perhaps even appear charismatic on the surface. But this is often a detached analysis, a way of managing interactions without true emotional engagement. Underneath, you're exhausted, constantly calculating, monitoring, performing. It drains the life force. You become adept at observing human connection from a distance, but increasingly inept at participating in it. This creates a feedback loop. The more you avoid situations that risk exposing your perceived inadequacy, the fewer opportunities you have for genuine connection and shared experience. The very things that build resilience and a multifaceted identity. The comfort zone shrinks, becoming a lonely fortress. You're locked inside with the very identity you sought to protect, while the vibrant, messy, unpredictable world unfolds outside, increasingly out of reach. The loneliness deepens, not just from lack of company, but from a lack of authentic self-expression. But what if the cage door isn't truly locked? What if the identity you've spent a lifetime protecting is the very thing preventing your liberation? The rebellion begins not with acquiring more knowledge or sharpening intellectual skills, but with a radical act of surrender, letting go of the smart kid identity. This isn't about disavowing your intelligence. It's about dismantling the toxic belief that your worth is contingent upon it, especially upon effortless intelligence. It requires shifting your core question. Instead of asking, "What will make me look intelligent?" you start asking, "What will help me move forward? What will help me grow? What will help me connect?" This is a profound reorientation, moving focus from performance to process, from outcome to experience. It means consciously stepping into discomfort. It means allowing yourself to try things and be bad at them. Spectacularly, gloriously bad. It means joining that club, trying that sport, engaging in that group project, not to win or impress, but simply to participate, to learn, to engage with the messy reality of growth. You must actively sabotage the illusion of perfection you've curated. As Nietzsche might urge, you must become who you are by overcoming the self-imposed limitations, by daring to risk failure for the sake of authentic becoming. This feels counterintuitive, even terrifying. It feels like stepping backward, like shedding armor in a battle. But it's the only way out of the shrinking comfort zone. It's the first real step toward building an identity grounded not in fragile exceptionalism, but in human resilience. Here lies the ultimate truth, the realization that can reframe everything. Your value was never truly derived from being special or smart. That was the story told to you, the identity assigned. The new, more profound story reminds you that your value comes from being human. And being human means being uncertain, imperfect, capable of fumbling, falling, and getting back up. It means you are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to feel lost. You are allowed to not know what the hell you're doing half the time. Intelligence is a powerful tool, but it was never designed to fix emotional pain or answer the soul's deepest question. Am I enough? That question isn't a logical puzzle to be solved. It can only be answered emotionally, through lived experience, through connection, through the quiet acceptance that arises from authentic self-engagement. Trying to use logic to fix self-esteem is like trying to mend a broken heart with a mathematical formula. It's the wrong tool for the job. It keeps looping because there is no purely intellectual answer to a fundamentally emotional need for belonging and acceptance. The defensive arrogance, "I'm just different. I don't relate because they're not as smart." I'm too deep for surface-level friendships is a final desperate shield against the unbearable pain of feeling left out. It's an egoic defense mechanism, as Viktor Frankl might note, masking a deeper search for meaning and connection. But this defense builds walls, not bridges. True connection requires something intelligence alone cannot provide: humility, presence, vulnerability. It requires stepping down from the pedestal of perceived intellectual superiority and into the messy, unpredictable world where the rest of the people live. And it turns out that world isn't so bad. In fact, it's the only place where you can truly be seen, not for the performance of intelligence, but for the entirety of your being. It's the only place you can finally truly feel at home. Let go of the story of the smart kid. Stop trying to be impressive. Start trying to be real. Because you don't need to be the smartest person in the room to belong in it. You just need to be someone willing to show up. Even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when it's unfamiliar. And in that authentic showing up, you'll find the connection you've been yearning for all along.